This is an SM Media production. Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of Golf Talk, your exclusive SM Media golf podcast. I'm Scott Pike. It's an absolute pleasure as always to be your host, and as always a delight to be joined by the one and only Andy Fullen. Andy, it's a pleasure, mate. Thank you.
No, not at all, Scott. Thanks very much for inviting me back on. Always enjoy talking about what's happening in the world of golf. So it's been another busy few weeks.
It's been very, very busy the past few weeks. I say there was a plan to do a PGA preview. It's just completely run out of time, and we obviously had a lot. We've had a lot happen that week in the PGA that we'll get into in a moment. But as I say, obviously it was the second major of the year. We should be back for a US Open preview, so we'll get that done. In terms of the PGA, Andy, I was hoping it would be a week just about what was happening on the course, but on Friday morning, that was completely out the window. We had the first round, and it seemed to be pretty good. It seemed to be a lot of good scores. It looked to be a competitive week ahead. And then on Friday morning, I was at my work, probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe it was something like that. And this thing came up on Sky News when I was looking up on my lunch. It was like world #1 golfer involved. It said something about involved in traffic collision. And I was like, that doesn't sound good. And then you look into it, you see the video. First of all, before we go any further, I think we do need to say at the start, this is a really tragic story.
Oh,
it's a terrible event. And again, we give our thoughts out to the family of obviously the fatality. It's an absolute tragedy. But we then see that video. We see, I think, one of the probably the most famous mugshot since Tiger, probably second since OJ. Like, it's just such a wild story. And if this was any other player, it would have probably been just a bizarre incident. The fact it's the world #1, the most dominant player we've seen probably since Tiger, it was just insane. I mean, it was probably the most bizarre day I've ever had as a golf fan. Like, I can't think of many others.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was the same as at work, and you start getting the images through with the kind of the orange jumpsuit and stuff like that. And you just automatically think, is this a joke I've missed? I've been busy. Have I just? And then you look at Sky. Then you're right. All the reputable news outlets come through, and you see the footage, and it's just it was absolutely surreal. I still find it bizarre. On a serious note, though, could that has that? Well, it has obviously had an influence on him, but he's not going to win the Grand Slam now.
No,
just kind of bear with me. Obviously, it's obviously a very very difficult thing to do. It's only been done once before by Bobby Jones, and it was a different format, so many years ago. But legitimately, I mean, he still finished tied 8th after a really poor Saturday. Obviously, he's without his caddy as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if that doesn't happen, there's a legitimate shout to say he goes on to win that. Really, we'll never know. It's maybe a little bit of a long shot. He didn't play well enough. Xander Schauffele played outstanding golf, but we'll look back in time, at this time, because this could be a real seminal moment for him, but it was just bizarre, the whole thing. But as you would expect, he handled it just impeccably, because he's an absolutely class act. So I thought his interviews were tremendous. His golf
conference on Friday night was
surreal.
But
his golf, he obviously just went straight into autopilot on Friday. It was incredible, and then maybe. I think, to be honest, that not having his regular caddy on Saturday really, that probably shook him more. But I think, as he said, he just kind of got a bit fatigued and kind of ran out of steam a little bit. And obviously, it's still ongoing, we have to say as well. You know, it's
Yeah, I
not been
think it
shut
will
down
go on
or
for a
anything
while.
yet,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But yeah, absolutely bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. I'm
We
not.
also need to take into account he's just become a father. I think 2 weeks before that.
Mhm.
Like that won't have been easy as well. Like that'll have been playing. He'll have had a few sleepless nights. He's obviously won the Masters, which is a He's on this tremendous run, and the pressure is so hard.
Mhm.
And then this happening now. There are different stories, but we do have some video on it. What it looked at, like there was some brilliant reporting done as well. The guy at ESPN, and his name just escapes me as well. He was absolutely remarkable in the
Mhm.
whole thing as well. And it was just described. I think Scheffler actually described it in that press conference as just a very chaotic situation, and
Yeah.
that's what it was. And it could have been so much worse. But the image of the world number one, not only in an orange jumpsuit on the Friday of a major, while Masters champion, but also being led out in handcuffs, was just like wild. Like it
Yeah.
was, and to do what he did on the Friday to shoot the score, like I put out a tweet to have, like, nobody can question him now in terms of his mentality and his, like, to do that. And I know he didn't win, and I think to finish where he did was remarkable as well. And it's the same. I mean, he finishes tied second the week after as well, so he's still on this amazing run of top tens. Like, to do what he's done after what I imagine would have been a very scary situation for a while.
Oh yeah. I mean, you, especially with the way the way he is with his kind of his religious beliefs and all. I mean, he's literally the last person. If you were to have a list of 100 players to describe or to guess that this would happen to, he would be number 100. And that was
Yeah.
what was more shocking than anything. And I mean, everyone's thinking a bit of not a chuckle at it, but just the whole surreal thing of it was just bizarre. But it shows there is a bit of steel there as well, when it comes to his goal, and it shows you just how good he is. But if that was him on autopilot on Friday, then it's God help the rest of them when he is fully focused and he didn't even play that way. Even his first try, he didn't play that. I mean, how well did he start the tournament? He held his second shot at the flag. That was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
He just thought they might as well just shut the tournament down there and then because he's going to win it. But yeah, incredible performance, all things considered. And he's just, like you say, he's on this phenomenal run. And he's, even last week, we'll talk about the winner, obviously, but he was tied second. And I'm loath to say he done nothing all week, but he really did. He coasted to tied second. He still beat 140 odd other guys in the field. It's an incredible run of form.
Yeah, absolutely. And we obviously have to talk about the tournament as well. When I I have thought Xander Schauffele has been major material for a long time, and he has just had that case of can he get it done in the big stage. But I think I don't want to say it was never in doubt because it was. Obviously, Hovland was in a really good one. We'll touch on America's Sweetheart in a minute because that was probably the more surreal than Scheffler's arrest and who the kind of crowd went with. But Schauffele's just always had the guy. The talent's been there. It's just been, does he have that kind of cutting edge? And he
Yeah.
did it. And he was, again, brilliant to see. And he's another player that's deserved his major and he's finally got it.
Yeah, he's certainly been up there as one of the best players to not win a major. I think the course setup really helped him. I
Yeah.
think you had to make birdies, you had to stay aggressive, and he's for once in the final round, his putting was really good, and that's what's really let him down a few times, certainly at Augusta and things. But I think the setup suited him. Suited the fact that he stayed in the front foot. He was obviously in great form because he came into it. I mean, he was unlucky. He came up against a Rory in the top of his game the week before to just edge him out. But yeah, he's been great all season. He's probably comfortably the second best player. Well, he has by the rankings, but even just in form, he's comfortably the second best player in the world right now. So yeah, good to see, and I hope he does. He does go on out and win a couple more as well. Not easy to do, but in this era, obviously of Scheffler, the way he's going. But yeah, he's certainly shown a real consistency this season anyway, and I'm glad he won.
Record score in a major as well. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Seen that, and it was actually the easiest major setup in history as well with the scoring. It's maybe a slightly different conversation.
I'll go out on a limb and say I think Valhalla. I don't think we'll ever see Valhalla hosting this tournament again. I think it'll be very, very unlikely.
Yeah, I think
just for the not just for the on-course stuff. I think there was. I think a lot of it was off course.
Yeah, I think that's what certainly some of the players were saying. Some of the reports you're seeing before, obviously the tragic events at the Friday. Some of the reports from the players, Zalatoris, telling his mum and dad not even bother travelling because it was so chaotic. So, but yeah, that and the scoring. Yeah, I think we'll. I don't think we'll see it back there again. But it was a good event. Good exciting finish. So it was enjoyable.
Yeah, and we've gained a very popular figure in the golfing circuit again, and I don't think a lot of us thought that Bryson DeChambeau would be the fans' choice. And again, he seems to have calmed down. That's one thing that I really noticed in the back then. He seems to have sorted out some of the nonsense that he was like. He still get obviously the kind of scientist stuff, which again you can take it or leave it. He looks a lot. He doesn't look as like robotic in terms of his shape. Like he just seems a lot more kind of settled. And there was a wee bit of you just like it'd be some story if he won. Well, I was very much in the Schauffele camp because I've kind of followed him for a while, but the crowd got behind him, and the thought of that 2 years ago was never expected. So, what was that? What did you think that was down to?
I think I've not as personally, I've not seen a lot of his YouTube stuff. But apparently, he's really taken that by storm, and I think that's maybe shown a different side to him. He's maybe found his own wee niche there. But I don't know. I think he's. I mean, he's electric to watch. I mean, down on that back nine, he was great to watch. I mean, he was going at everything. He is different, completely different with in all aspects. But even the way he plays, he's going at everything. He still hits it an absolute mile. So that's kind of entertaining for certainly the fans to watch him. But I don't know. Maybe maybe he's found his place. On live. He's not. It doesn't strike me as maybe wanting to really be one of the main popular guys, like maybe like a Ram possibly does. But he's just possibly found his place, and certainly he seems really at home with a lot of the YouTube stuff he's doing. So, and that's in this day and age, that's where a lot of the golfing public are looking at stuff. So yeah, maybe he's got a new generation of fans, but I don't know. He almost just kind of seemed a bit more normal, if that's kind of the right way of describing it. He was just wasn't quite as I don't know, the way he has kind of behaved in the past hasn't maybe endeared himself to the crowd a lot. But I think between the YouTube stuff and just the way he was playing was really, really exciting to watch. So, it's just a twilight zone of a week, I think.
Yeah, and you obviously there was a lot of stuff coming out. Obviously, Rory's divorce was kind of the headlines for a while, and again, I don't know what kind of impact that had on his situation. There was a lot of chat about that. Hovland as well, again, just kind of had a really poor year so far. He came back in, he made a real attempt and just came a bit short. I think that'll be something he'll be kicking. I think he can kick on from that. Morikawa, I thought, played really well in stages. Like, you had some really good stories as well. Like, Thomas Daytree played well. Like, it was a good week and it was very competitive, even though the winner, like Schauffele, won and went kind of wire to wire. I mean, it was very, very exciting week in terms of obviously there was a lot going on off the course that kind of dominated, but in terms of a week of golf, it was very, very good.
Yeah. Well, any time it goes literally to the last putt on the last green, and there's a bit of jeopardy there. He's a 6-footer, which isn't a gimme, and it didn't go right in the middle. It just kind of caught the edge. So I think that drama, obviously means it's a good event. A lot of good golf played as well. Interesting, so Hovland's a good one. He's really, he was almost a debt. From the high of the Ryder Cup last year to now, incredible drop off. But I think he's back working with his old coach, certainly his old short game coach, and that's made a huge difference to him. Funnily enough, the winner of the next week, Davis Riley, he's exactly the same. He's back working with his old coach as well, and goes to show there's something maybe in that. The fact that maybe going back to who possibly can just kind of kickstart you or get you back to basics, But yeah, pleased to see Hovland playing well and looking a bit more like his old self, because he's far too good a player to be where he has been, certainly for most of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a very, very chaotic week at the PGA. There's been some really good stories over the past couple of weeks as well. Do you remember Robert Rock?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I played 6 holes with him back in the day. So yeah, I worked at previous club at Irvine Golf Club. We held a big PGA regional event. He never won it, but I think he was like 3rd and 2nd or 4th or something a few times. So went the shot one day. This is going back a long time. And I was just closing up and went out and played 6 holes with him, and he was lovely guy, really so down to earth, really really good guy. But I was delighted to see the story for the US Open qualifying. He's just a quality golfer, and a lovely story.
Yeah, absolutely. He's obviously retired from golf. I think he only plays like I don't know if he's like a pro or it. I don't know if he's obviously still a pro. I don't know if he's like a pro for a certain club or anything like that, but I think he still plays like he only plays kind of recreationally. 9 under he shot at Walton Heath to qualify for the US Open, first time in 12 years. Some names as well. Matteo Manasero's back at a major, as is Eduardo Molinari. So congratulations to them. Grant Forrest, obviously Scottish golfer, back qualifying for the US Open. Another bit of good news that we heard was obviously the news that Richard Bland has won the senior PGA. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, it was an interesting story. Got an invite after. I think he won the British Masters or something like that, but he gets some kind of invite over. But yeah, I mean, this is another story, isn't it? And it just nice to see someone really have a good finish to their career, kind of renaissance at the tail end of their career as well. He's done well for himself and live. He's really made a good few quid over there, and he's obviously enjoying himself. But he can obviously still play a lot as well, and it's a great win for him. To win a senior major as well is a fantastic achievement.
Yeah, absolutely. And on a kind of sadder note, obviously we did get news on Saturday regarding the very sudden passing of Grayson Murray. Obviously, it has been confirmed, obviously, that he'd taken his own life. And again, it's just a really tough situation to address. And it's obviously something I feel that's important to address, Andy, because we're golf fans, as we say. I think Grayson Murray won a couple of months ago. So he's a player that we've kind of gotten to know. And it's just a really bad loss for golf. It's just a really tough thing to speak about. But again, I think one thing that's really caught my eye was just how kind of I know Peter Malnati's interview was very, very touching for those who haven't seen it. There's a lot of really nice things that people have been saying about Grayson Murray, and I just think it's a really tough situation. But again, it's so hard to really say anything other than just a massive loss.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 30 years old, winner this year on tour, fiance as well.
Yeah.
Just horrendous. I mean, he's had his struggles well documented. He's spoken out about them, and yeah, it's difficult to put into words. I mean, from the outside, we look at it and we say, young guy, literally the world at his feet in his career. you wouldn't think any issues financially probably for the rest of his life, even at 30. But in between those years, he must have been in some place to carry out what he did, and yeah, heart goes out to his family and stuff. Just a horrendous situation, and to find yourself in, and yeah, he's obviously very highly regarded with his peers by a lot of the people coming out and been paying tribute to him. Just a really tragic situation again, for golf and for the PGA Tour as well.
Yeah, and again, just really tough. And obviously, when you get that news, like it's very, very strange. Like, it's the same in kind of every sport that we cover as well. Whenever you hear stories like that, it just really kind of gets you as well, because we do follow these golfers every week, and again, I wouldn't say that we get to know them, but I think we see them a lot. Do you know what I mean? We follow their scores, and we don't see what goes on off the course, and I think that's kind of really important. And that was one thing that I was really impressed with the PGA, that they said that grief counsellors were, and I think a lot of golfers did use them. I think that's quite nice as well to hear that those options are there. But yeah, just a really, really sad situation. And again, our thoughts and our condolences go out to the Murray family, and obviously everyone connected with the sad passing. A couple of bits of ladies golf news to talk about. We'll obviously start again. Where else do you start in women's golf at the moment? But Nelly Corda, she's just in a world of her own. She's won 6 of her last 7 starts. She is red hot. I have never seen this in my entire golfing life. I just got it here. She is 7-2 to win, which doesn't look a big price, but I have never seen a golfer that short in a women's event ever. She is just miles clear for the Women's Open, and like, I've been very vocal of what I want to go to. I have a feeling this could be Tiger's last Open, so I want to go to Troon. Like, I've had that thought for a while. Like, I want to make sure I go wherever it is, just to make sure I'm there. It's kind of at the stage now with the LPGA. I want to go just to see Nelly Corda and just say I've seen her, because she's that dominant.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's well, almost unprecedented. If it isn't unprecedented, our form this year's been off the charts. I mean, she's more than double the points ahead of second place, which is just incredible. I mean, she can basically not hit a shot between now and the end of the season and still finish number one. It's an unbelievable start to the season. And yeah, I think it's. I mean, it's an obvious comparison with Scottie Scheffler in the men's game, but I think when sports people become this good, they almost don't need to have the kind of outgoing personality, anything like that. Their greatness almost speaks for themselves. And like you said there, you want to go and see her just to see how good or how great she is, and that's what draws people. And you could argue that's what true greatness really is. People want to go and see. If you look at maybe like tennis, as an example, people might be drawn to the charisma, maybe of someone like a Rafa Nadal or somebody like that. But ultimately, Roger Federer was one of the quite kind of quieter players, but his greatness, I would watch. I don't watch tennis, but I'd watch it if he was on. You think, oh, I'd watch this because he's just absolutely almost superhuman, and that's where she's at the moment in the women's game. She's just, you say, so far ahead, and yeah, you just want to see how she gets on, see if she does win.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously, Nelly Corda, one thing that's jumped out about her is that she's relishing, obviously, the dominance of the game. We got news, obviously, today. We're recording this on Tuesday night, and I wasn't overly surprised at this. I was kind of one of those who are just surprised at the timing. Lexi Thompson has announced that she will retire from professional golf at the end of the season, and she's always come across to me as the easy comparison I can make is Gareth Bale. Like, she just hates the spotlight. I think she just hates how popular she can get. But again, she's been in the game. She's only 29, which I thought was quite. I thought she was a lot older than that. But again, she played in the US Open in 2007, when she was 12 years of age.
Yeah.
She's won 15 events, so she's been around a long time. And I think as well, like Michelle Wee's maybe another one similar to this as well. when you start that early and there's a lot of hype on you straight away, it is hard to live up to, and it's the longevity doesn't really exist. But another golfer I think that is had a really, really good career in the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was Lexi and kind of Ricky Fowler at the time, wasn't it? You know, back in maybe 10 or so years ago, who were the kind of both same sponsors with Cobra Puma.
Yeah.
Coming through the ranks similar times. They were the kind of poster boy and girl for American golf. Possibly never, again, similar to Ricky, never quite lived up to the height or the talent she maybe showed when she was younger. But I mean, an incredible statistic, like you said, she's 29 and this year she's playing her 18th US Open. I mean, that's just bonkers. It's an incredible stat. But it's interesting. I read our kind of statement, and again, she's very much going with the, like you said, she doesn't like the limelight, but basically kind of almost using the social media criticism is one of the reasons why she is kind of, she finds it hard to kind of live day to day with the constant kind of comments and criticisms and things like that. And again, I'm not comparing in any way, shape, or form to what we've just discussed with Grayson Murray, but
yeah,
it shows you where these they're super athletes or they're phenomenal sports people and all, but they are humans at the end of the day. It takes different types. There's different types of people you meet day in day out, and some people can cope with a lot of this, and some people just can't. You know, and it's possible if she does feel like that, it is the right decision for her to retire. Could possibly have a great career in media. She'll be wealthy beyond her means anyway. So, but not all the best to her. Certainly, she played in obviously the gents event as well. I think it was last year before, and almost made the cut as well. So, she's been one of the, like I say, one of the kind of poster girls for women's golf. She's done a great job, and yeah, just wish her all the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, she's probably going to go in and be very successful, whatever she does in the golf world. So again, just best wishes to her. Next episode, I'd imagine we're going to look at is probably going to be the US Open. We're heading to Pinehurst. It'll be fourth time at Pinehurst, and obviously when you think of Pinehurst, you think of Payne Stewart. You think though as well, although Keimer won it in dominant fashion in 2014, it's always a tough test. I think Keimer, and I might be wrong here, I think Keimer is the only player to finish over 2 under par in a US Open at Pinehurst.
Really?
Because 99, I'm sure Stewart won it at 1 under. Campbell won it in 2005 at even par. And Keimer won it at 9 under in 2014. And I think he won it by 8 shots, which was...
Won it by a lot, yeah.
So, again, one thing that I hope it is a very, very tough test, because I think... Yeah. I don't think the winner of this will finish 21 under par.
No, definitely not. I think, again, we'll know the conditions near the time and things, but I'm like you. I hope it is a tough test. Not maybe brutal, but yeah. I hope it's a good test. I think, although the PGA of Valhalla was enjoyable from a competitive point of view, you like to see these guys tested. You know, I think the trouble with that course was guys could go at pins, Bryson could go at every pin, and if he missed the green, if he was short-sided, it didn't really matter. You know, they're so good enough to get up and down. Whereas tight fairways, firm greens, if you're not on the fairways, you're not going to be able to hold the greens. It makes a premium and hitting it a lot straighter. You're looking at your really elite iron players coming in when the greens get firm as well, short game as well, run about the greens. So I hope it is a real good test. And yeah, I think even from when Keimer won it, the game's moved on. I think guys are better, technology's better. I just think that I wouldn't be surprised if it was a single digit under par. You know, if it's 7, 8 under or something like that. Maybe that's been a bit hopeful, but like you, I don't think it'll be a lot under par, and I hope it's not.
I hope it's not either. I think we're in for a really, really tough test, and we'll obviously be back to cover the US Open, which will be in a few weeks, so stay tuned for that. Andy, thank you very much for joining me in this episode. As always, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure.
No, thank you for inviting me on. Really enjoyed it. And again, yeah, looking forward to the US Open. I've never been to Pinehurst. I've been to round about it in South Carolina. I've never been to Pinehurst. I'd love to go one day, but it's a great part of the world. So I'm really looking forward to it and see who comes out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, everyone tuned in, folks. Please follow our golf page on social media for more consistent golf coverage. And we'll be back for the US Open. Thank you very much.